All right, top 5 sports video games. NCAA football. Video game is back for the first time since 2014, I believe was the last one. EA is releasing it. Actually came out today.
Yep.
So that got us thinking a good theme for this week. Top 5 sports video games. Lot to choose from. I think I have a few on here you're not thinking of. I think you probably have the same.
Yeah, I agree.
But I have the first pick, I believe.
Yep, first pick.
So my first pick is actually going to be, as you know, my weekly guest pick from my beautiful girlfriend, Clara. This is actually a game I probably would have had near the top of my list, probably number 1. This is a game I play with her.
It's been a big bonding thing for y'all.
Has been a big bonding thing. I loved it before. I've played it past like 10 years.
And
10
I have
plus
to say,
years.
every time we've played, I've never won. I think I've maybe scored 1 or 2 goals. It's such a challenging game for me.
If you're not used to it, it's challenging. But this game is FIFA, now called FC, EA Sports FC. But FIFA,
I love how they don't even care that they lost the sponsorship. They're like, we have a big enough following. We don't need you.
They kicked FIFA out.
That's crazy.
But yeah, FIFA.
Mad respect to them, though.
Great game, great online play, whether you like soccer or not. It's a fun game to play. In America, it's made a lot of people soccer fans because it kind of introduced you to some of the players, some of the games and everything. Around the world, where they're already football, soccer crazy, it's even bigger because it's the biggest sport video game. So FIFA, my number 1. I believe it's their best-selling game, too, for EA Sports.
I'd have to imagine
worldwide.
I'd have to imagine it would be because even though I'm not a big fan of the game because I'm terrible at it, I understand why it's so big. Like it is quality kind of year after year.
So my number 1 pick from my beautiful girlfriend Clara, FIFA, top 5 sports video game.
That's a good pick. I like it.
What you got?
I'm gonna go with an oldie but a goodie.
Mario Tennis.
That is on my list. But maybe it's not a pick. I don't know. No, oldie but a goodie for me is one of the first games I ever remember playing that I got good at. Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't have that one.
You know, it was definitely, it was way more popular before.
That was a fun game too.
But it was very fun. It was very multiplayer friendly.
I never got into skateboarding, but I love that game.
Yeah. So basically, the whole premise was the career mode was you're a bad skater and you're trying to get into the X Games. So, that whole thing. You could be Tony Hawk.
It was such a fun game.
Man, I remember playing that with my friends, playing it with family members because it was fun and wiping out. It wasn't, you wouldn't get in trouble for doing anything like all sports games. It was just a good quality game. And
it's a good pick.
They made it for the PS4 and it's still just as good. It's just it's way harder, I'd have to say.
It's a very good pick. I didn't have it on my list, but I like that pick.
All right. Next up, it's still my pick, right?
Yes, you had number 2 pick.
Nice. I'm going to go with Madden NFL 2005, specifically that year.
Oh, wow.
Because that was my favorite year. Probably the best I ever was at Madden came from that PS2 disc with Ray Lewis on the cover.
So can I pick Madden?
Yeah, I'm picking that
as a franchise.
Yeah, I'm picking that specific year. That was the introduction of the hit stick. So you really got to start laying people out from 2005 forward. It was just a really good game. In my memory, that was the career mode was the first thing I experienced a sports career mode in. So being the quarterback.
Shout out career modes.
Just in general, shout out career modes.
Yeah, I love career modes.
But yeah, doing that career mode, being a quarterback, it really put me in the framing of it. It made me feel oh, I could do this. And then I go out in the yard and I'm still trash at being a quarterback. So there you go. Yeah, Madden NFL 2005. That hit stick was revolutionary.
That's a good pick. And that was a great game. Hit stick still around today, still revolutionary. That's a good pick. I like that pick, Alex.
Thank you, sir.
So my number 2 pick?
Yep.
I'm not going specific year as you are. I'm going more franchises, as you'll see. But my number 2 pick is going to be why we even did this draft. It's going to be EA Sports NCAA football. Back after 11 years, I think it is It's much like Madden, obviously, because you're playing football. I like it more than Madden.
So I've never been like a big watcher of college football, so my gravitation has always been towards Madden growing up. Now everything, almost everybody I talk to, they're like willing to buy a PlayStation 5
Oh, yeah.
just for this game because they don't care about Madden. They want this game back. After all this time, they want NCAA football.
Well, college football just has more passion than. So I think that's part of it. There's more teams. Gameplay is a little bit different, enough different where you can have fun, different playbooks.
Justifies the purchase of both.
Yes. So
Maybe.
NCAA football, it's back. I'm excited it's back. As you said, I want a PS5 now because it's back. But that's my number 2 pick as a franchise. EA Sports NCAA football.
That is a good pick. I mean, like you said, it's the whole reason we did the draft. It's solid.
So now my number 3 pick.
Is this where the rubber meets the road?
Yeah, because I have a safe one I might go with. And
I think our lists are wildly different here.
I'm going to go with the safe one because I know it's a good pick. You mentioned it earlier. You picked a specific game. I'm picking the franchise. Madden. I mean, it's iconic as a sports video game.
It is.
It's been around since the 90s. It revolutionized sports video games, I'm pretty sure. It's what put EA Sports, specifically EA Sports, on the map, especially in America.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, every year it's got to be one of the best-selling games. It's a big deal. Madden ratings are a big deal.
It's crazy that the Madden ratings are a huge deal, but the crazier thing is like the big complaint is that they don't change too much, but it's still one of the best-selling.
It's still one of the
games.
best-selling, and I still, yeah.
It's like, God, I hate that they don't change much. Let me give them my money.
But at the same time, they change a lot. You're going to be like, what the hell is this?
Right, they do an overhaul. Everybody hates it. I think
Yeah.
it's just impossible with 8 billion people around. It's just impossible to
People
please.
love to hate,
Oh, yeah.
especially the internet.
Have you ever
But-
talked to a Star Wars fan?
Oh,
People
yeah.
love to hate.
Well, that's what Marvel fans turn into now, too.
Yeah, basically.
But, yeah, we digress. But Madden is my number 3 pick.
That is a good pick.
For
Madden.
sports video games. What's your 3 and 4, Alex?
Man, all 3 of your picks are football in some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
My third pick, I think my whole draft is just going to be where you're going, general franchises. I'm going with games that I have the biggest ties to. So my third pick has got to be MVP Baseball 2005.
It's a good one. Is that the one with
Manny Ramirez on the
Ramirez?
cover. He played for the Red Sox then. That one was great. That was kind of another game.
That was the first baseball game I got into.
That was the first baseball game I got into as well because before that I had a Sega Genesis, so it was very terrible graphics. So the PS2 was really revolutionary for all that, for me and for a lot of other people. But that game was great. The career mode was awesome. You had the home run derby modes. You had the franchise modes where you could be more or less like the manager and play the games or just sim the games and control the money and all that. But they also had like the cheats where you could like name your player Isaiah Patterson or Peterson or something like that.
Yeah.
And he would be like this tall, and all he would hit would be like bombs.
And then the best player in the game was Barry Bonds was like the only guy
Yeah.
that didn't give his consent to be in the game. So it was a white guy named something Dowd.
Yep.
He was the best player in the game. And
Yep.
It was a random guy. But yeah, that is a good game. MVP. That was the first baseball game I got into.
I guess 2005 was a big year for me for sports.
Yeah.
Sports games at least. So yeah, that's my third pick. MVP Baseball 2005. Manny Ramirez on the cover. That's it.
That's a good pick.
Mine.
I'm going to stick with the franchises that I've been going with, the general franchises.
But it's still my fourth pick. Boom.
Oh, wow. I almost gave you a pick.
Oh, I should have let you keep talking. Damn. Oh well. Anyway, my fourth pick is going to be something a lot more recent than those two. Just because I never got into this franchise until I was an adult. NBA 2K19.
Oh, that was literally, 2K was my next pick.
That one for me, that was the first one I got into. Truthfully, the only one I've ever done like a really deep dive on where I played it.
2K is fun. Their
2K is
career
very
mode. They have
fun.
one of the best career modes.
That was one of the reasons for picking it. 2K19 for me, the career mode just like never ends. Even though it does end, like as far as it gets repetitive. But if you're not like super paying attention to the dialogue, it doesn't seem that repetitive until you're in
just
like
playing
year
games.
5.
Yeah.
So the career is very in depth. There's a lot of things that you can do with it, and then now I'm sure with like NBA 2K24 or something like that, it's even crazier. But the depth of what they do, the effort they put into making the game is very, very clear. You know, why they have a big following. So 2K19 for my fourth pick. And now you can go, sir.
My turn.
Your turn.
I'm gonna pivot. My last two picks are gonna be baseball picks. My number 4 is the current best baseball franchise around. It's MLB The Show. Also has one of the best career modes possible.
When did MLB The Show come out?
I think in the 2010s, probably.
Probably. Okay. Continue.
Great game.
MLB 06 The Show. Dang.
Oh, wow. As I said, probably the best career mode where like you can take a guy all the way from the minors. You can do it where you just do his at bat so you can go through the career quick. Very in depth.
That's
very
true.
fun.
They do have settings like that where you can sim certain parts. So if you only want to be, focus on hitting or what fielding, you can just do that.
Or you can just play normal where you control
9
the whole
innings.
team.
Yeah.
Very fun game. I think there was a little while, 5-6 years, where there wasn't a great baseball game out there. The show kind of picked up the slack, and now it's obviously the superior one.
We're definitely in an era now where there's not great competition for any of these big franchises.
It's like each one has one.
Yeah. Like MVP Baseball 05, back in the day, they had multiple.
They used to have NBA Live.
They had ESPN NFL Football, which was it's Madden competitor.
They had NFL Fever one time.
Yep.
They had 2 years of
They had
that.
other things that I'm not going to talk about yet, just in case.
Oh, yeah, because I have that one on my list. And that's where
You
my
have other
fifth pick.
You have other things on your list, too.
I have that on my list because I know what you're hinting at, but I'm going to go with a childhood favorite of mine for my number 5.
Oh, no.
Backyard Baseball.
Okay, good. That is a very good game.
Backyard Baseball, that was probably the first sports game where I got super into. You could take your team, you draft your team out of like
Little League.
Little League guys.
Macho
You can
players.
go all the way. You play a whole season, then you can play like regionals, and then you can play like a World Series.
The
It was
big
very
bats
in
were
depth.
awesome, too.
Every player you could strategize because some players were fast, some players had big bats, some players were all around. It was a very fun game. That's one of the games I look back at my childhood when I was like 7 or 8. Backyard Baseball, that was it. I love Backyard Baseball. And then they started adding the pros as little leaguers.
Yeah. It
As
was
the
just
years
like
went
big
on,
head
and it
versions.
was awesome.
Yeah.
So Backyard Baseball, my number 5 pick.
It wasn't on my list, but was a very good pick. The whole list is good. I mean, there's a bunch of good sports games throughout time, especially. My 5th pick, my final pick, Wii Sports.
It's a good pick.
You know, it has the bowling, it has the boxing, it has the golf, it has the baseball, tennis, but it's fun for the family.
Wii Sports is good. The tennis was so fun.
The bowling was very fun. They had the challenges section.
The boxing, they had boxing.
Boxing on it.
Baseball, they had a home run derby.
So, it was a good family game where, and it wasn't too time consuming. Like, I know a lot of these games on here, Madden, The Show, 2K, you get loaded down with a full game. You may be stuck on this game for an hour or more. Wii Sports, you could be out of there in 10, 15 minutes per round. And
very
be playing
fun
a different
game.
mini game or be playing a different game altogether. And that's another one, they only made it once. I guess they made a couple
I
renditions
think they made
after.
a couple of them, yeah.
Because, like, we have...
But one was, the original one was iconic.
Like, we have Nintendo Switch Sports because the nostalgia grab, right?
Yeah.
It's just not the same. Wii Sports solidified itself with that.
That's a good pick. I do have a couple honorable mentions, 3 of them that I have to mention.
I absolutely agree. You mentioned Mario Tennis. That was on my list. I played that
That was a fun game.
when I was a kid on the N64,
64.
then the Game Boy. I have it on the Switch. It's
Blitz,
an awesome game.
NFL Blitz,
I have that on the list.
fantastic game.
The list.
NBA Street,
And NFL Jam.
NFL Jam. And then I have one I thought you were going to pick.
What's
This
that?
was the one I was hinting at that you might be upset. Rocket League.
So I thought about it, and I just have trouble considering it a sport. I know it's
I
like in
think
the
it's
esports
sport.
category, but so is Fortnite.
I think it's a sport.
You
I
know,
think Rocket League's it. It's a game where you're playing against each other.
Mario Tennis, like we said, NFL Street.
There's
the
Mario.
UFC.
What about racing? Does
So
that count?
I had trouble. I know there's NASCAR
I was thinking about
games
Forza and I
F1
didn't put it on
games.
there.
There's those two, but
Or
I
Mario
didn't-
Kart.
I don't play them, so I didn't pick them.
Yeah.
UFC games, those are fun. Very challenging.
Very
online.
repetitive though.
Very repetitive. But I will say for like UFC 5, for instance, the story, the career mode, you can tell that they took some things from like NBA 2K, with the agent talks and, the different things like that. And then like golf games, PGA Tour,
Yeah, PGA.
Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy. There's been Jordan Spieth on the cover. There's been a bunch of different ones. they all have similar things. My favorite's probably that Rory McIlroy one. But yeah, those are
Yeah.
my.
A
Let's
lot
run
of-
through the top five.
A
And
lot
then
of
we'll
good
close
ones.
this thing out.
As you said, let's recap mine. Number 1, From My Beautiful Girlfriend, Clara, FIFA. Number 2, NCAA football. Number 3, Madden. Number 4, The Show. Number 5, Backyard Baseball.
I'm gonna shout out my wife because I messaged her, said top sports games. She just didn't respond. So there's that.
Shout out Maddie.
Shout out Maddie. So my number 1 is Tony Hawk. This list was crafted by myself, is what that means. Number 2, Madden NFL 2005. Number 3, MVP Baseball 2005. Number 4, NBA 2K19. And number 5, good old Wii Sports.
There you go.